What if I told you wireless charging isn't really power through thin air? It's more like two invisible magnets doing a perfectly timed handshake. Because your phone isn't pulling electricity out of the charger. It's receiving energy through a changing magnetic field. Basically, the same idea used in transformers, just packed into a pad and a phone. Welcome to the smart side. If you like learning how everyday tech really works, you're in the right place. In the next few minutes, I'll show you what's happening inside the charging pad, what's happening inside your phone, why placement matters so much, and why wireless charging usually feels slower and warmer than a cable. Alright, here's the simple version. Inside the charging pad, there's a coil of wire. When electricity runs through that coil, it creates a magnetic field. But wireless charging uses one key trick. The electricity isn't steady. It flips direction back and forth, many times per second. That makes the magnetic field change constantly. And when a magnetic field changes, it can create electricity in a nearby coil. So, inside your phone, there's another coil. The changing magnetic field from the pad reaches the phone's coil, and it pushes electrons inside it. That creates a voltage, and then current starts flowing. Then, your phone's charging circuit takes that electricity and turns it into the exact kind of power your battery needs. So the pad isn't sending electricity into your phone directly. It's sending a changing magnetic field, and your phone turns that back into electricity. Here's a quick picture to help. Imagine two tuning forks. If you strike one, the other can start vibrating too, even without touching, because the energy transfers through the air when they're matched. Wireless charging is similar, but instead of sound waves, it uses magnetic fields. One coil shouts a changing field, and the other coil listens and picks up energy. Now, why does placement matter so much? Because the strongest part of the magnetic field is right where the coils line up. If the phone is off-center, less of that field reaches the phone's coil, and the energy transfer gets weaker. That's why sometimes you place your phone down and it doesn't charge. Then you move it 1 centimeter and suddenly it works. And that's also why some systems use magnets to help the coils line up automatically. Now let's talk about the thing everybody notices. Why does wireless charging get warm? Because it's not perfectly efficient. When the transfer isn't perfect, some energy gets lost, and that lost energy usually turns into heat. Some heat comes from resistance in the coils. Some comes from the electronics converting the power. And if there's a thick case in the way, or anything metallic nearby, the system can waste more energy and heat up more. That's also why wireless charging can feel slower than a cable. A cable is direct. Power goes straight into the phone's charging system. Wireless is a two-step handoff. Electricity becomes a magnetic field, and then the magnetic field becomes electricity again. Every extra step adds losses, so the charger and phone usually play it safe and limit power if things get too warm. Here's a cool part most people don't realize. Your phone and the charger are constantly communicating. Before full power kicks in, they agree on how much power to use, and they keep adjusting based on temperature and alignment. If your phone heats up, charging slows down. If alignment improves, it can speed up again. So, the charging speed isn't fixed, it's being managed in real time. So here's the main takeaway. Wireless charging works because changing electricity in one coil creates a changing magnetic field, and that field creates electricity in a second coil. It's not power through thin air. It's invisible magnetism doing a clean handoff over a very short distance. And once you know that, all the little details make sense. Why placement matters, why it gets warm, why magnets help, and why it can be slower than a cable. Next time you drop your phone on a charging pad, you'll know what's really happening. Two coils, one invisible field, and a perfectly timed transfer of energy. If you enjoyed this and learned something new, I'd really appreciate it if you hit like and subscribe. It genuinely means a lot to me, and it helps the smart side reach more curious people like you.